While you sleep, your subconscious mind is listening, absorbing, reshaping, and reprogramming the foundation of your reality. This is the most powerful audio to guide that transformation from within. Listen as you sleep, and your life will never be the same when you awaken. Reprogram your subconscious mind. Introduction. The art of reprogramming your subconscious mind rests upon understanding its fundamental nature. Your subconscious exists as a vast, fertile garden that accepts every seed planted within it. Unlike your conscious mind, which analyzes and questions, your subconscious mind embraces all suggestions without judgment, nurturing them into full manifestation. This universal truth echoes through the ages. Your subconscious mind knows no difference between what is vividly imagined and what is real. When you present it with an image, thought, or feeling, it accepts this as reality and begins orchestrating circumstances to match this internal picture. This is why masters of old spoke of guarding your thoughts with the same vigilance as you would guard a precious treasure. The language of your subconscious is not logic, but feeling. It responds to emotion, imagery, and repetition. When you infuse your thoughts with deep feeling, you activate this powerful creative force. Think of your subconscious as an infinite field of possibility, responding not to what you say you want, but to what you feel to be true. Your nightly rest presents a golden opportunity for transformation. As you drift toward sleep, your conscious mind's barriers soften, allowing direct access to this powerful inner realm. This twilight state between wakefulness and sleep opens a gateway where new programs can be installed with remarkable efficiency. Through consistent practice and patient persistence, you can restructure the very foundation of your beliefs. Your subconscious mind holds no inherent preferences. It simply reflects back what you have impressed upon it through repetition and emotional intensity. By consciously choosing the thoughts and images you plant within it, you become the master gardener of your destiny. Remember, every thought is a seed, every emotion is water, and your attention is the sunlight that brings forth your creation. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Seed of Awakening. Chapter 1. The Mirror Within. In the quiet moments before dawn, Millie Harper's daily ritual unfolded before her bathroom mirror. Each morning, she catalogued her perceived flaws, muttering grievances about life's unfairness. "Nothing ever works out for me," she would say, watching her reflection nod in solemn agreement. Her words, though seemingly harmless, were commands to the universe, each complaint a seed planted in fertile soil. The mirror, that ancient symbol of self-reflection, serves as more than glass and silver. It stands as a gateway to your subconscious mind, where every word spoken becomes a decree, every thought transforms into reality. Your reflection does not judge or question. It simply accepts and mirrors back what you present to it. Consider how Leonard Tate transformed his life through this understanding. Each evening he stood before his mirror, shoulders straight, eyes bright with purpose. "I am worthy of abundance," he would declare. "Success flows to me naturally." At first these words felt foreign on his tongue, yet he persisted. Gradually his world began to shift. Business opportunities emerged unexpectedly. New connections formed effortlessly. His reflection had become a faithful ally in manifesting his desires. The power lies not in the mirror itself, but in the law it represents. Your subconscious mind reflects back precisely what you impress upon it. When you speak to your reflection, you speak directly to your deeper self. This self knows no argument, harbors no doubt. It simply accepts and manifests. Your words carry creative force. They shape the invisible patterns that become your visible reality. With each declaration, you weave the fabric of your experience. The subconscious mind, like a master weaver, takes the threads of your words and creates the tapestry of your life. As day yields to night, stand before your mirror. Let your eyes meet your own gaze. Speak words of peace, abundance, and self-acceptance. Allow these affirmations to settle into your being. I am whole, I am worthy. All good things flow to me naturally. Repeat these words until they feel as natural as breathing. Let them be the last thoughts you carry into sleep, where they will sink deep into the fertile soil of your subconscious, taking root in the garden of your tomorrow. This ancient practice, simple yet powerful, transforms not just your reflection, but your very reality. For in speaking to the mirror, you speak to the universe itself, and it has no choice but to respond in kind. Chapter 2. The Garden of Thought. In the hidden garden of your mind, every thought takes root and grows according to its nature. This truth reveals itself through the tale of Nora Collins, whose small collection of potted plants languished despite her devoted care. Each morning she would inspect their withering leaves with mounting anxiety, convinced some mysterious curse had befallen her garden. "Nothing I do helps them thrive," she would lament, unknowingly feeding the very force that stunted their growth. The universe operates through an immutable law. Your predominant thoughts and emotions create the conditions for what manifests in your experience. Just as a garden responds to the quality of attention it receives, your life flourishes or falters based on the seeds you plant in your subconscious mind. One evening, exhausted from worry, Nora simply sat with her plants and began to appreciate their resilience. "Thank you for teaching me patience," she whispered to a struggling jasmine vine. "Thank you for remaining green despite my fears," she told the small rosemary bush. As she continued this practice of gratitude, something remarkable occurred. By morning, new buds had appeared, leaves had strengthened, and her garden seemed to pulse with renewed vitality. This principle found another expression through Byron Wells, whose life had become a catalogue of complaints. His business struggled, relationships soured, and opportunities seemed to evade him at every turn. Then he encountered an ancient teaching: as within, so without. Understanding dawned that his constant focus on lack was creating more of the same. Byron began a deliberate practice of appreciation. Where he once saw business challenges, he now recognized chances for growth. When clients were demanding, he thanked them for helping him develop patience. Each difficulty became an invitation to shift his inner garden's soil from toxic to fertile. Within months, his transformed emotional state attracted new clients, harmonious partnerships, and unexpected opportunities. His experience demonstrates that the subconscious mind, like fertile soil, nurtures whatever seeds we plant within it, be they flowers of gratitude or weeds of worry. Sacred practice. As twilight approaches, find a quiet moment to breathe deeply. Feel gratitude flowing through your body like golden light. Allow each thought to arise naturally, thanking it for its presence. Keep only those thoughts that resonate with joy and possibility, letting them settle into your consciousness as you prepare for rest. This practice plants seeds of abundance that will bloom in the garden of tomorrow. Chapter 3. The Sound of Belief. In a small valley where mountains held ancient songs in their stone hearts, Clara Reynolds carried a voice that yearned to soar but trembled in shadows of hesitation. Each morning she would open her lips to practice, only to hear her own doubt echo back. The mirror showed a singer, but her mind whispered otherwise. Until one evening, as the sun painted the sky in hues of possibility, Clara discovered a weathered book that spoke of sound's sacred power. Within its chapters lay wisdom from voice masters of old, who taught that every spoken word carries the force of creation. Following their guidance, she began recording herself speaking words of power. I am a vessel of pure song. My voice brings light to all who listen. Music flows through me with divine grace. Each night before sleep claimed her, Clara would play these recordings, letting her own voice wash over her like a gentle stream. As weeks passed, something shifted in the air around her. Her voice, once confined by fear, began to rise with natural confidence. At auditions, where she once faltered, she now stood tall, her songs carrying the strength of her nightly affirmations. The transformation speaks to a truth as old as sound itself. The subconscious mind learns through repetition, especially when words ride upon waves of emotion. Each affirmation Clara spoke became a note in the symphony of her new reality. In another part of the valley lived Douglas Finch, a man who discovered this same principle in his kitchen. As he stirred pots and seasoned dishes, he began a practice of speaking blessings over his food. This meal carries love. Each bite brings joy. I create with divine inspiration. His kitchen became a temple of positive vibration. Soon those who ate at his table spoke of meals that seemed to nourish not just their bodies, but their spirits. Douglas had stumbled upon what mystics have long known, that frequency shapes reality, and words spoken with love change the very nature of matter. Ancient practice. As night draws its curtain across the sky, find a quiet space where your voice can meet silence. Choose 3 words that embody your deepest truth. Perhaps, I am light, or peace flows within. 3 times, speak these words with the tenderness of a prayer, letting each repetition sink deeper into your being. Let these vibrations be the last impressions your subconscious receives before dreams begin their dance. The night will multiply their power, and dawn will find your reality subtly transformed by their resonance. Chapter 4. The River of Allowing. In a small coastal village, Hazel Monroe's garden was a testament to control. Each morning she measured the soil's moisture with precision instruments, trimmed leaves to exact lengths, and followed rigid feeding schedules. Yet despite her meticulous care, her prized roses remained stubbornly small, their blooms tight and unwilling. Year after year she pushed harder, until one autumn morning, exhausted and dispirited, she simply stopped. To her astonishment, as she eased her grip, her garden flourished as never before. The universe operates through the law of least resistance. When you release the need to control every outcome, you align with the natural flow of creation. Your subconscious mind, that faithful servant of your deepest beliefs, responds not to force, but to faith. It is through surrender that you discover your true power. Consider the eternal rhythm of waves upon shore. They do not strive or strain, yet they reshape continents. The moon does not force its influence upon the tides. It simply is, and the waters respond. So too must you learn to be, rather than do. In releasing control, you open the channel through which abundance naturally flows. In the heart of the city, Owens Grant's small bakery taught him this sacred truth. For years, he micromanaged every detail. The exact temperature for each loaf, precise measurements for every recipe, strict schedules for his staff. Despite his efforts, success remained elusive, until one day, overwhelmed by exhaustion, he surrendered his iron grip. He began to trust his baker's intuition, allowed for creative inspiration, and welcomed spontaneity into his kitchen. As his control melted away, something magical happened. The aroma of joy replaced the scent of strain. Customers who once hurried past now lingered, drawn by an indefinable warmth. His bakery became not just a shop, but a sanctuary of simple pleasures. Your subconscious mind responds to the energy of trust, not the energy of force. When you release your grip on life, you allow the invisible currents of the universe to carry you toward your highest good. This is not passive resignation, but active acceptance, a profound understanding that some forces work better when we step aside and allow them to flow. Ancient practice for surrender. As you prepare for sleep tonight, lie upon your bed and systematically release every muscle in your body. Begin with your toes and move upward, consciously relaxing each part of yourself. Then speak softly to your day. It is enough. I have done enough. I am enough. Let your breath become gentle and slow, knowing that the unseen hands of the universe now arrange all circumstances for your highest good. In this state of trust, allow sleep to carry you into dreams, knowing that surrender is your greatest strength. Chapter 5. The Dream Sculptor. In the quiet hills beyond the city walls, Evelyn Blythe spent countless nights tossing in restless slumber. Thoughts of unpaid bills and mounting responsibilities haunted her dreams, until one evening she stumbled upon an ancient text that spoke of the power of nocturnal visions. The manuscript revealed that the moments before sleep were sacred, a time when the veil between imagination and reality grew thin. With nothing left to lose, Evelyn began a nightly ritual. As she lay in bed, she would paint vivid pictures in her mind, scenes of abundance, joy, and purpose. She imagined herself walking confidently through life, surrounded by prosperity and peace. Within weeks, subtle shifts began to appear. Opportunities emerged as if summoned by her nighttime visions. Her world started to mirror the images she had so carefully crafted in her mind's eye. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is real. It accepts the pictures you present to it as truth, as reality already manifested. These mental images become the blueprint from which your outer world is built. Just as a seed contains within it the full pattern of the tree it will become, your imagination holds the complete design of your future experience. This truth found profound expression in the life of Ford Latham, who lay in a hospital bed, his body weakened by illness. Instead of focusing on his current condition, Ford began to use the quiet hours of night to see himself whole and vibrant. In his mind's eye, he walked through sunny gardens, felt strength in his limbs, and breathed deeply of sweet morning air. He infused these images with the feeling of perfect health, knowing that emotion is the language of the subconscious. Day by day, his body began responding to these internal pictures. The doctors were amazed at his recovery, yet Ford understood that his healing had begun in those precious moments before sleep, when he chose to plant new images in the fertile soil of his subconscious mind. Your imagination is not mere fantasy. It is the creative force of the universe expressing through you. What you consistently imagine with feeling becomes the template for your life experience. The subconscious mind works tirelessly to bring your internal pictures into physical form, especially during the receptive state of sleep. Ancient practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, create a clear mental picture of your desired life. See yourself already living your dream in vivid detail. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the peace of having what you desire. Let these feelings wash over you as you drift into slumber, knowing that sleep will weave these images into the fabric of your reality. Chapter 6. The Frequency of Joy. In a small village among ancient hills, Hattie Rhodes knelt each night by her bedside, hands clasped tightly, shoulders tense with worry. Her prayers flowed like a litany of fears for her struggling shop, her ailing mother, her uncertain future. Night after night, she poured her anxieties into the universe, wondering why her petitions went unanswered. The more she prayed with desperation, the more life seemed to mirror her concerns. Until one evening, while watching children play in the village square, she witnessed something transformative. Their laughter rang pure and free, their joy complete despite having so little. In that moment, she understood. They received life's gifts because they expected them with delight. The universe speaks the language of joy. When you approach life with heaviness, even your highest aspirations carry the weight of doubt. Your subconscious mind, that faithful servant, responds not to your words but to your emotional vibration. Each thought radiates a frequency, and joy resonates at the same pitch as creation itself. Consider how plants turn naturally toward sunlight. Your spirit likewise bends toward joy, for joy is the light that nourishes manifestation. When you infuse your desires with happiness, you align with the natural flow of abundance. Your prayers become not desperate pleas, but celebrations of what is already yours. Irving Boyd, a merchant who had lost his fortune, discovered this truth through an unexpected path. Each night, before retiring to his modest bed, he stood before his mirror and smiled, not from obligation, but in genuine appreciation for life's simple gifts. At first it felt foolish, even forced. Yet as nights passed, the practice became natural, and his dreams filled with possibilities instead of regrets. Soon, opportunity seemed to find him effortlessly. A chance meeting led to a profitable partnership. A forgotten investment bore unexpected fruit. His customers returned, bringing new ones with them. The more he maintained his practice of joy, the more life responded with reasons to smile. This transformation reveals a fundamental truth. Your subconscious mind accepts joy as evidence of abundance. When you approach sleep with lightness in your heart, you program your inner world for success. Your dreams become blueprints for reality, and your waking hours reflect the optimism you've cultivated. The secret lies not in the intensity of your desires, but in the purity of your joy. Like a master sculptor who sees beauty in uncarved stone, your joyful expectation reveals the masterpiece waiting within your circumstances. Sacred practice. Before you rest tonight, recall 3 moments that brought you genuine happiness today, no matter how small. Let yourself smile naturally as you remember them. Feel the warmth of gratitude spread through your body. As you drift toward sleep, imagine your dreams as gardens where joy blooms freely. Let your last conscious thought be one of pure delight, knowing that your happiness is a magnet drawing more reasons to rejoice. Chapter 7. The Quiet Command. In the bustling marketplace of an ancient city, Mabel Pierce moved through life like a storm, her voice raised against every obstacle. She demanded of the universe, bargained with fate, and pushed against the tides of circumstance with fierce determination. Yet the more forcefully she grasped for change, the more her desires seemed to slip through her fingers like grains of sand. One evening, exhausted from her battles, she encountered an old woman tending to a fountain in the town square. The woman's presence radiated such peace that the very air around her seemed to shimmer with tranquility. "You speak too loudly to hear the universe's answer," the woman said, her voice barely above a whisper. "In silence lies the power to transform." The art of conscious creation flows not from the thunderous demands of the ego, but from the gentle whispers of the heart. Your subconscious mind, that faithful servant of your deeper truth, responds most powerfully to the quietest of impressions. Like the surface of a still lake that perfectly reflects the sky above, a quiet mind becomes the mirror through which your desires can manifest clearly. Quinn Jarrett discovered this truth in the quiet hours before dawn. Each morning he would sit in his garden, breathing in gratitude without words, simply feeling the abundance that surrounded him. He made no demands, voiced no desperate pleas. Instead, he cultivated an inner silence so pure that the universe could speak through him rather than to him. Within months, his small bookshop transformed into a thriving cultural center, though he had not once raised his voice in promotional outcry. The subconscious mind operates like the roots of a great tree, invisible yet vital, drawing nourishment not from the winds above, but from the silent earth below. When you cease the internal chatter of worry and want, when you allow yourself to rest in the profound quiet of being, you activate a power far greater than any forced action could achieve. This ancient wisdom teaches that manifestation flows not from the noise of doing, but from the power of being. Your subconscious responds to the whispered truth of your authentic self, not to the shouted demands of your fears. In stillness, you discover that what you seek has always been seeking you. Practice. Sit still tonight, breathe in peace, and let stillness instruct your mind before sleeping. That calm is power. Chapter 8. The Inner Child's Key. In a small coastal town, Sadie Quinn carried wounds like invisible thorns, pricking her confidence with each step. Her mirror conversations echoed the harsh voices of her past. "You're not enough. You'll never succeed." Night after night, these thorns grew deeper, until one evening, something extraordinary occurred in her dreams. A small girl with familiar eyes appeared, tears streaming down her face. This was Sadie herself at age 7, reaching out with trembling hands, pleading, "Why are you so angry with me? I only want your love." The encounter shook Sadie to her core. awakening her to a fundamental truth. Within your subconscious dwells a child self, absorbing every word you speak as absolute truth. Your subconscious mind maintains the pure, unguarded nature of childhood. It accepts without question, believes without doubt, and responds to emotional resonance more than logical argument. Like a young child, it cannot distinguish between harsh criticism meant to motivate and actual rejection. It simply receives and reflects. Forrest Hale discovered this truth through an ancient practice of memory healing. Each night, he would revisit moments of childhood shame, not to relive them, but to rewrite them with the compassion of his adult self. Where once stood a critical father, he visualized himself offering understanding. Where once loomed failure, he painted success. Through this gentle revision, his subconscious began releasing old patterns of unworthiness. "I am safe now," he would whisper before sleep. "I am loved completely." These simple phrases, spoken with tenderness, became bridges between his adult wisdom and childhood wounds. Within months, his relationships transformed, his creativity flourished, and opportunities arose as if by magic. Yet this was no magic. It was the natural result of inner harmony restored. Your subconscious holds no concept of time. The child you were still lives within, shaping your present through past impressions. Every harsh self-judgment ripples backward, reinforcing old wounds. Yet every gentle word of love flows equally through time, healing what came before. Sacred practice. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, create a quiet space for healing. Close your eyes and envision your younger self, perhaps at age 7 or any moment you remember feeling vulnerable. Speak to this child self with infinite tenderness. You are safe. You are loved. Everything that happened then has led to wisdom now. I hold you in my heart with perfect acceptance. Let these words carry you into sleep, knowing that as you heal the child within, you transform the adult without. Chapter 9. The Bridge of Faith. In a small coastal village, Gloria Denton spent her days demanding signs from the universe. Each morning she would stand at her window, arms crossed, declaring, "Show me proof first, then I'll believe." Her garden remained barren, her relationships strained, and her dreams distant, all waiting for evidence that never came. One night, as waves crashed against the shore, an old fisherman shared wisdom that would transform her understanding. "The fish don't appear before we cast our nets," he said. "We cast in faith, knowing the ocean provides." This simple truth pierced Gloria's heart, awakening her to the natural order of creation. The universe operates through an unwavering sequence. Faith precedes manifestation, just as a seed must be planted before a flower can bloom. Your belief creates the energetic blueprint that reality follows. When you demand proof before believing, you reverse the divine order, creating a barrier between yourself and your desires. This sacred law reveals why some struggle while others seem blessed with endless fortune. Those who prosper have learned to trust the invisible currents of creation. They know that what exists in consciousness must eventually materialize in form, for consciousness is the very substance from which reality is shaped. Truett Gibson, a humble craftsman, embodied this wisdom through his remarkable transformation. While his workshop stood empty of customers, he began arranging his tools each morning as if preparing for a busy day. He greeted invisible clients with warmth, discussed projects that existed only in his mind, and carried himself with the quiet dignity of success. Others thought him mad, but Truitt understood the power of acting from the end. He knew that by living in the feeling of achievement, he was programming his subconscious to attract corresponding circumstances. Within months, his workshop hummed with activity, his reputation grew, and clients appeared as if summoned by his unwavering faith. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between imagined experience and physical reality. When you live from the end, feeling, thinking, and acting as though your desire is already fulfilled, you align your vibration with its manifestation. Faith is not blind hope. It is the conscious choice to live in harmony with what you wish to create. The world you see reflects the beliefs you hold, not the other way around. Waiting for circumstances to change before changing your mindset is like waiting for your reflection to smile first. You must be the one to initiate the shift, trusting that the universe will rearrange itself to match your inner knowing. Practice. As stars rise, trust that the unseen is already shaped. Rest, knowing your belief is the bridge over which miracles cross. Chapter 10. The Language of Gratitude. In a small village among rolling hills, Betsy Cline's life was a tapestry of complaints. Each morning, she would count her misfortunes like beads on a string. The weather too cold, the market prices too high, opportunities too scarce. With each grievance, she wove a web of delay and disappointment around herself, unaware that her words were crafting the very reality she bemoaned. Your subconscious mind operates as a faithful gardener, tending whatever seeds you plant within its fertile soil. When you water the ground with complaints, you nurture the very weeds that choke your dreams. Yet within this same soil lies an ancient power, the transformative force of gratitude. Gratitude serves as the master key that unlocks the storehouse of abundance. It shifts your vibration from lack to fullness, from scarcity to plenty. Each thank you, whispered to the universe, becomes a note in the symphony of manifestation, calling forth more experiences that match its frequency. Consider Preston Shaw, whose barren fields mirrored his bitter outlook. Year after year, his harvest dwindled until his farm teetered on the edge of ruin. One dawn, exhausted by his own negativity, he walked to his fields and did something different. Instead of cursing the dry earth, he thanked it for sustaining his family for generations. Rather than bemoan the weak crops, he expressed gratitude for every green shoot that pushed through the soil. At first, nothing seemed to change, but Preston continued his practice of gratitude each morning, speaking words of appreciation to the land as the sun rose. Gradually, the earth responded. The soil grew richer, the crops hardier. Neighbors remarked that his fields seemed to glow with vitality. Within one season, his harvest doubled, then tripled in the next. Preston's transformation reveals a universal truth. Gratitude is not merely a response to abundance. It is the very force that creates it. When you shift your focus from what is missing to what is present, you align with the natural flow of prosperity. The universe mirrors back your appreciation with increasing bounty. This principle operates with mathematical precision in your own life. Each complaint anchors you in lack, while every expression of thanks opens a channel for more blessings to flow. Your subconscious mind, ever attentive to your emotional state, responds to gratitude by attracting circumstances that warrant more appreciation. The ancient practice. As you lay your head upon your pillow tonight, begin counting your blessings, no matter how small. Let each "thank you" illuminate your consciousness like a star appearing in the evening sky. Feel the warmth of appreciation flowing through your body, programming your subconscious mind for greater abundance. Allow this practice to carry you into sleep, knowing that while you rest, the seeds of gratitude are growing into tomorrow's harvest of joy. Part 2. The Practice of Becoming. Chapter 11. The Echo Principle. In a bustling city where opportunities seemed to flow like rivers, Vera Chandler walked through life feeling invisible. Each time she reached for connection, advancement, or joy, the world appeared to step back. Time and again she found herself facing closed doors, unanswered messages, and diverted gazes. What Vera failed to recognize was that these experiences weren't random occurrences. They were precise reflections of her innermost expectations. Your life unfolds as an intricate mirror, reflecting back the energy you emanate into the universe. Each experience, each encounter, each circumstance materializes as an echo of your dominant vibration. This is not metaphor, but cosmic law. The world must respond to your inner signal with mathematical precision. The subconscious mind broadcasts your deepest beliefs like a radio tower, transmitting signals that shape the fabric of your reality. When you carry an expectation of rejection, life arranges itself to validate that expectation. Your thoughts become the template upon which experience molds itself. Consider Clyde Harmon, whose small bookshop struggled at the edge of town. For years he anticipated customers turning away, competitors overshadowing him, and opportunities passing him by. His mind replayed scenes of dismissal until they became his daily reality. Then one autumn morning, something within him shifted. Instead of bracing for rejection, Clyde began imagining warmth and welcome flowing through his shop's doors. He replaced thoughts of emptiness with visions of engaged readers discovering literary treasures. He felt the joy of connection before it manifested physically. Within weeks, the atmosphere in his shop transformed. Regular customers lingered longer, new faces appeared daily, and collaborative opportunities emerged unexpectedly. The same space that once felt heavy with rejection now hummed with vitality. Nothing had changed in the physical world, except Clyde's inner broadcast. This principle operates constantly in your existence. Life cannot help but orchestrate circumstances that match your emotional frequency. Your experiences are not happening to you. They are responding to you. When rejection repeats, it signals an invitation to examine and adjust your internal expectations. The power lies not in changing external circumstances, but in altering your inner transmission. Words alone cannot rewire this pattern. It is the feeling state that commands the universe's response. Your subconscious mind understands the language of emotion far more fluently than the language of logic. The ancient practice. As night approaches and the world grows quiet, take a moment to observe the patterns that appeared in your day. Notice without judgment where life has echoed your expectations. Bless each reflection, understanding it as a faithful messenger of your inner state. Then, with gentle attention, record a new signal in your heart. Feel the warmth of welcome, the certainty of acceptance, the joy of connection. Let these feelings be your lullaby as you drift into sleep's embrace, knowing that tomorrow's stage will perform according to tonight's rehearsal. Chapter 12. The Golden Script. In the quiet valleys of a distant mountain village, Dolly Penrose discovered a truth that would transform her existence. Each evening, as shadows lengthened across her modest cottage walls, she would take out her leather-bound journal and write herself anew. Not as she appeared to the world, but as she truly was in the depths of her soul. "I am grace embodied," she would write. "My presence brings light to those around me." Night after night, she crafted her story with the patience of an artisan, weaving words that painted her desired reality. As she wrote, something remarkable began to unfold. The world started responding to her revised self-image rather than her old patterns of doubt. The secret lies in the mind's inability to distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is experienced. Your subconscious mind, that ancient keeper of dreams and beliefs, accepts the stories you tell it with unwavering faith. It does not question whether your narrative is fact or fiction. It simply begins the work of making your chosen story real. Clyde Foster understood this principle when his business faced unprecedented challenges. Instead of dwelling in worry, he began writing elaborate scenes of success each evening. "Today brought unexpected opportunities," he would write, even when no opportunities were yet visible. "I am filled with excitement for tomorrow's possibilities." His written words became seeds planted in fertile soil, and soon enough, reality aligned with his carefully crafted narrative. The universe responds not to what you see, but to what you believe. When you consciously choose your story, you command the very fabric of existence to conform to your chosen tale. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the deliberate programming of your subconscious mind through the power of narrative. Your life is an unfolding story, and you are its author. Each thought you think, each word you write, becomes a line in the script of your existence. The subconscious mind, ever faithful to your directions, works tirelessly to bring your written word into physical form. Tonight's practice. As you prepare for sleep, take a moment to write your story as you wish it to be. Speak of yourself in the present tense, as if your desired reality already exists. Feel the truth of your words as you write them. Then, let sleep carry your chosen narrative deep into the realm where all creation begins. Chapter 13. The Subconscious Gatekeeper. In the heart of a bustling city lived Flora Bates, whose mind waged constant war with unwanted thoughts. Each morning she would steel herself against negative thinking, creating lists of forbidden ideas and mounting an inner resistance that left her exhausted. "I must not think of failure," she would command herself, only to find thoughts of failure multiplying like shadows at sunset. The more fiercely she fought against her fears, the more powerfully they seemed to take root in her consciousness. The universal law reveals a subtle truth. What you resist persists. Every declaration of "I won't" becomes an invitation for the very thing you seek to avoid. The subconscious mind, in its infinite wisdom, does not recognize negation. It only knows focus and feeling. When you say, "I won't fail," it hears and holds the energy of fail, drawing more of the same into your experience. This wisdom found its perfect illustration in Lionel Carter, a merchant whose early struggles taught him the art of gentle redirection. Rather than battling his doubts about his business, he learned to meet each challenging thought with the soft whisper, "This too turns to good." When inventory ran low, instead of resisting panic, he would quietly affirm, "Supply flows naturally." When customers were few, he would smile and say, "Perfect timing unfolds." The transformation in his store was remarkable. Where once tension had created an atmosphere of scarcity, his new approach invited ease. Customers began commenting on the peaceful energy they felt upon entering. His sales increased not through forced effort, but through the natural magnetism of acceptance. The subconscious mind responds to gentleness like a flower opening to morning light. It requires no force, no battle, no rejection of what is. Instead, it thrives on the art of redirecting energy with love and understanding. Each thought, whether deemed positive or negative, comes bearing a gift, an opportunity to choose again, to turn toward what you wish to nurture. Before you rest each night, gather all your thoughts, the welcomed and unwelcomed alike, and whisper to them, "All is well." Let your mind know it is safe to relax its vigilance. Permit the night to refresh your inner garden, knowing that in this acceptance, true transformation begins. Like soft rain washing over tender shoots, let sleep restore your consciousness to its natural state of peace and possibility. Practice. As you prepare for sleep, place your hand over your heart and quietly affirm, "I release all resistance. Every experience flows toward my highest good. My mind rests in perfect peace." Allow these words to become your lullaby, trusting that in surrender lies your greatest power. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Light of Forgiveness. In a small coastal village, Minnie Shepherd woke each morning to tend her garden, yet the flowers seemed to wither no matter how attentively she cared for them. Her hands moved mechanically through the soil, while her thoughts dwelled on those who had wronged her years ago. The weight of past hurts hung like a heavy mist over her days, clouding every new beginning with shadows of old pain. The universe speaks in the language of energy, and your subconscious mind holds every emotion as a living current. When you carry grudges, you anchor yourself to the very experiences you wish to leave behind. These emotional bonds act as invisible chains, binding your creative force to expired chapters of your story. Minnie's garden reflected the state of her inner world. Where resentment took root, nothing new could flourish. Yet transformation awaited in the simple act of releasing her grip on yesterday's wounds. The moment she began to loosen her hold on past grievances, life responded with surprising swiftness. In the neighboring town, Archie Nolan's small business had stagnated for years after a bitter falling out with his childhood friend and former business partner. Each time he thought of their dispute, his chest would tighten, and somehow his ventures would encounter yet another obstacle. The pattern continued until one sleepless night, when exhaustion finally surrendered to wisdom. Archie realized that his resentment was not punishing his old friend. It was imprisoning his own potential. That night he sat in his study and wrote a letter he would never send, expressing forgiveness not for his friend's benefit but for his own liberation. As he wrote the final words, something shifted in the atmosphere of his being. Within weeks, opportunities began flowing as if a dam had broken, carrying him toward prosperity he had long forgotten to imagine. The subconscious mind cannot create anew while preserving old grievances. Like a vessel that must be emptied before it can be filled with fresh water, your inner world must release the stagnant energies of the past to welcome the abundance that awaits. The pain you hold is not your protection. It is your prison. Each moment of forgiveness is a key that unlocks another chamber of possibility. This truth lies not in moral obligation, but in energetic law. Freedom flows in the space where resentment once resided. When Minnie finally allowed herself to forgive, her garden burst into unexpected bloom, as if the earth itself celebrated her release. The flowers she had struggled to nurture now thrived effortlessly, mirroring her inner liberation. Sacred practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, imagine each person who has caused you pain. See them surrounded by gentle light. Whisper softly, "I release you to your highest good, and in doing so, I free myself." Feel the lightness that comes with each blessing. Let your body sink into peaceful rest, knowing that as you forgive, you write new possibilities upon the chapters of tomorrow. Chapter 15. The Vision Table. In a small village among rolling hills, Colette Harmon lived in a modest cottage where each evening she would retreat to her meditation room. There, surrounded by candlelight, she would immerse herself in vivid images of her aspirations. Rather than forcing or straining, she allowed these visions to envelop her like a warm embrace, feeling their reality in every fiber of her being. The universe responds not to what you think, but to what you feel as real. Your subconscious mind, that faithful servant of creation, does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. When you infuse your mental pictures with the vitality of emotion, you activate the law of magnetic attraction with unmistakable power. As Colette sat in her quiet sanctuary night after night, she would see herself teaching in a sunlit classroom, sharing wisdom with eager students. She felt the joy of connection, heard the murmur of engaged voices, and experienced the satisfaction of making a difference. Within months, an unexpected opportunity arose at a prestigious school, matching her vision in remarkable detail. The key lies not in the striving, but in the feeling of natural alignment with your desire. Your subconscious mind responds to the language of sensation and emotion, translating your inner experiences into outer reality. When you merge clear visualization with genuine feeling, you create an irresistible force of attraction. Eugene Brooks understood this principle when he began his search for a new home. Each night before sleep, he would hold a simple sketch he had drawn of his ideal dwelling. Rather than fixating on the how or when, he would simply rest in gratitude, feeling the comfort and peace of already being there. He imagined the morning light streaming through windows, the satisfaction of preparing meals in his perfect kitchen, the joy of hosting gatherings in the spacious living room. Within weeks, a series of synchronistic events led him to the exact house he had been visualizing, down to the bay window he had sketched. The price, location, and timing aligned perfectly with his needs. His experience demonstrates that when visualization is paired with heartfelt emotion, the universe conspires to manifest your dreams through the most natural channels. Your subconscious mind is like fertile soil, ready to nurture the seeds of your desires into full bloom. The images you hold, when charged with genuine feeling, become the blueprint for your tomorrow. Release the need to control the process. Instead, let your visions float in the sea of possibility, knowing they will take form in divine timing. Ancient practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, create a clear mental picture of your desired tomorrow. See yourself moving through your day with grace and ease. Feel the emotions of accomplishment, joy, and peace as if they are already yours. Let these feelings wash over you like gentle waves, carrying you into restful slumber. Your subconscious mind will work through the night to align your reality with this blessed vision. Chapter 16. The Frequency Diet. In a bustling seaside town, Nancy Lowell spent her evenings absorbed in news cycles and social feeds until sleep became elusive, haunted by shadows of global concerns. Each headline planted seeds of worry in her mind's fertile soil, sprouting into forests of anxiety by dawn. Night after night, she noticed her dreams grew darker, her thoughts heavier, until even the morning sun seemed dimmed by the residue of electronic despair. The universe speaks through vibration, and your subconscious mind absorbs every frequency it encounters. Like a garden that flourishes or withers based on what fills its soil, your inner world responds to the nutrients, or toxins, you feed it. The thoughts, images, and sounds you consume become the very fabric of your reality, weaving patterns that echo through your experiences. Nancy discovered this truth when she began to notice how her day's events mirrored her mental diet from the night before. Days that followed evening news marathons brought encounters with conflict and stress, while peaceful music before bed seemed to orchestrate harmonious tomorrows. In the sacred hours before sleep, your mind opens like a flower to the night, drinking in whatever surroundings you provide. This is why the ancient ones taught that evening practices hold special power. They program the deeper realms of consciousness as you drift into dreams. Virgil Pratt, a merchant whose shop had struggled for years, made a simple yet profound change. Instead of ending his days with dramatic television or troubling reports, he filled his evening hours with gentle melodies and uplifting readings. Within weeks, his customers commented on the shop's changed atmosphere. "There's something different here," they would say, lingering longer, purchasing more. The shift in his inner environment had altered his outer world without conscious effort. Your consciousness is like a clear pool. Whatever you place near its shores ripples through its depths. Choose carefully what you allow to cast reflections on these waters, especially as day surrenders to night. The final thoughts you entertain become the architects of tomorrow's experiences. Sacred practice. As twilight approaches, create a sanctuary of peace in your environment. Turn off all news and social media at least 1 hour before rest. Play soft instrumental music or nature sounds. Read words that lift your spirit. Let your last waking moments be filled with thoughts of beauty and possibility. As you prepare for sleep, imagine your mind as a sacred temple, allowing entry only to those influences that serve your highest good. This simple act of energetic housekeeping will transform not only your nights, but the very texture of your days to come. Chapter 17. The Whisper of Intuition. In a small cottage among flowering gardens, Marjorie Hannah lived her life by the rigid plans she created each morning. Her calendar overflowed with carefully plotted appointments, her kitchen shelves lined with precisely measured ingredients, her days structured down to the minute. Yet despite her meticulous organization, opportunities seemed to slip through her fingers like water, and peace remained elusive. One afternoon, While preparing her usual cup of chamomile tea, she felt an unexplainable urge to walk in her garden instead. She dismissed the feeling, consulting her schedule, which clearly showed it was time for correspondence. Yet the gentle pull persisted, growing stronger with each passing moment. For the first time in years, Marjorie surrendered to this mysterious impulse. As she stepped outside, the afternoon sun warming her face, she encountered her elderly neighbor who had fallen and needed assistance. This simple act of following her intuition not only helped another, but opened Marjorie to a profound truth. Her inner knowing had always whispered guidance, but her logical mind had drowned out its voice. The universe speaks through the language of feeling, through the quiet nudges, the subtle knowings, the inexplicable certainty that rises from deep within. Your subconscious mind, attuned to frequencies beyond conscious perception, translates this wisdom into gut feelings and intuitive flashes. These are not random impulses, but precise communications from the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all of life. Stuart Lang discovered this truth when managing his bookstore. Rather than relying solely on market research and sales projections, he began listening to his inner promptings about which books to stock and when to hold events. His colleagues questioned his seemingly random decisions, but Stuart had learned to trust the quiet voice within. One morning, feeling inexplicably drawn to order an unusual number of books on sustainable living, he followed this guidance despite his rational mind's protests. 2 weeks later, a major environmental conference was unexpectedly relocated to his city, bringing hundreds of conscious consumers to his doorstep. The books sold out within days. I stopped fighting my intuition, Stuart later shared, and started treating it as the voice of universal intelligence speaking through my being. Your subconscious mind operates beyond the limitations of time and space, connecting with the vast field of all possibility. When you learn to trust its guidance, life begins to flow with remarkable synchronicity. The key lies not in forcing decisions through logic alone, but in cultivating a relationship with your inner knowing. Sacred practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, place your hand over your heart and quietly affirm, "I open myself to the wisdom that flows through my being." As I sleep, my intuition grows stronger, clearer, and more refined. I trust the gentle guidance that leads me to my highest good. Allow this intention to carry you into dreams, knowing that each night strengthens your connection to your inner compass. Chapter 18. The Inner Temple. In a remote mountain village, a wise woman named Josephine Rhea discovered that her modest living room held more power than any grand temple. Each morning and evening, she would sit in silence, transforming the ordinary space into a sanctuary of divine connection. Through consistent practice, she noticed that even the air seemed to change quality when she entered, as if the room itself had become attuned to higher frequencies. The truth whispers through the ages. Your subconscious mind responds powerfully to sacred space and ritual. Just as ancient temples were built stone by stone, your inner sanctuary forms through devoted practice. The space you choose becomes charged with intention, creating a bridge between the visible and invisible realms. This principle manifested clearly in the life of Franklin York, a merchant who struggled with scattered thoughts and restless nights. His transformation began when he established a simple evening ritual, lighting a single white candle and breathing in gratitude for 3 minutes. At first, the practice felt mechanical, even foolish. Yet as days turned to weeks, something shifted. The mere sight of the unlit candle began to quiet his mind. The ritual became an anchor, drawing him into deeper states of peace. The flame became his teacher, showing him how to hold steady amidst life's winds. As his nightly practice strengthened, his days began to mirror the light he cultivated within. Business decisions flowed with unusual clarity. Relationships harmonized naturally. Even his home seemed to glow with a subtle radiance that visitors often remarked upon. These stories reveal an essential truth. The subconscious mind thrives on consistency and symbolism. When you create a dedicated space and time for communion with your inner world, you establish a powerful container for transformation. The ritual need not be elaborate. Even the simplest act, performed with presence and intention, can become a gateway to profound change. Sacred space is not found. It is created through your devoted attention. Whether you choose a corner of your bedroom or an entire room, the power lies not in the physical space itself, but in your commitment to meeting yourself there in stillness. Practice. Before sleep, close your eyes and envision a temple of pure white light within your being. See its pillars rising strong and serene, its halls filled with healing radiance. Rest in this inner sanctuary, allowing your dreams to replenish its sacred glow. Let this be your nightly ritual of returning home to yourself. Chapter 19. The Art of Receiving. In a bustling marketplace, Pearl Dixon sold intricate tapestries woven with golden threads. Her work drew admirers from distant lands who praised her masterful artistry. Yet whenever someone offered a compliment, she would quickly dismiss it, saying, "Oh, it's nothing special, or anyone could do this." Though her hands created beauty, her spirit refused to embrace the appreciation flowing toward her. The universe speaks through the currency of giving and receiving. When you close one channel, you inadvertently restrict both. Like breathing, abundance requires both inhalation and exhalation, the natural rhythm of life itself. Your subconscious mind holds the pattern of your worthiness, and when you deflect praise, you instruct it to deflect all forms of good. Each time you say no to a genuine compliment, you strengthen an invisible wall against receiving. This barrier doesn't discriminate. It blocks not only praise but also prosperity, love, and opportunities. The subconscious cannot distinguish between what you wish to receive and what you habitually reject. It simply learns to say no to everything. Clyde Morrison discovered this truth in his small bookshop by the sea. For years, he politely refused help from others, believing self-reliance meant doing everything alone. His business struggled until an old sage taught him the wisdom of receiving. "Start with yes," the sage advised, "and watch how life expands." Taking this counsel to heart, Clyde began accepting small kindnesses: a customer's suggestion, a friend's offer to arrange his window display, a neighbor's invitation to share marketing ideas. With each yes, his subconscious rewrote its programming. Soon his shop flourished, becoming a beloved community hub where generosity flowed both ways. Your capacity to receive mirrors your capacity to prosper. When you allow yourself to accept goodness, whether it arrives as a kind word, unexpected help, or abundant opportunities, you align with the natural flow of life's gifts. The subconscious mind learns through repetition that you are worthy of receiving and this new pattern attracts ever-increasing blessings. As the moon draws the tides, your openness to receiving draws the flow of life's abundance. Every genuine thank you spoken in response to praise becomes a key, unlocking greater possibilities in your experience. Evening. Practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, lie back and imagine yourself surrounded by a soft golden light. This light represents all the good attempting to reach you. Breathe deeply and whisper, "I am worthy of receiving." Let your body relax into this truth as you drift into peaceful slumber, allowing the night to deliver its gifts without resistance. Chapter 20. The Power of Relaxed Focus. In a small coastal village, Violet Cunningham pursued her dreams with clenched fists and furrowed brow. Each morning she would rise before dawn, gripping her journal of goals so tightly her knuckles turned white. She repeated her affirmations with military precision, scheduled every moment, and pushed herself relentlessly toward her vision of success. Yet the harder she tried, the more life seemed to resist her efforts. The universe operates through a sublime paradox. Creation flows most powerfully through relaxed awareness, not anxious strain. Just as a flower cannot be forced to bloom by pulling its petals open, your desires cannot be manifested through tension and struggle. The subconscious mind, that master creator of your reality, responds most readily to states of ease and playful expectation. This truth revealed itself through Hollis Avery, a painter who had lost his inspiration through years of demanding perfection from every brushstroke. One evening, exhausted by his own intensity, he decided to approach his canvas as a child might, with wonder and delight rather than rigid control. He began to dance as he painted, humming softly, allowing his brush to play across the surface without judgment. To his amazement, the paintings that emerged from this relaxed state were more vibrant and alive than any he had forced into being. Collectors began responding to the joy evident in each piece. His income doubled, then tripled, all because he had discovered the power of allowing rather than striving. The subconscious mind is like a calm lake. When you throw stones of worry and strain upon its surface, you disturb the perfect reflection of your desires. But when you approach it with gentle anticipation, like a child waiting for a butterfly to land, it mirrors back your dreams with crystalline clarity. Your task is not to wrestle your reality into submission, but to enter the flow of creation with trust and ease. Let go of the need to control every detail. Release the grip of anxiety that says you must make it all happen through sheer force of will. Instead, cultivate what the ancient ones called wu-wei, effortless action arising from alignment with universal law. "Let me strive less and allow more," Hollis would remind himself whenever tension crept back in. This simple shift transformed not just his art, but every aspect of his life. Success began to arrive not as a hard-won battle, but as a natural unfoldment of joyful engagement with life. As you prepare for sleep tonight, soften every muscle in your body and imagine your success floating toward you on gentle waves of possibility. Smile as you drift into dreams, knowing that the universe is completing your work while you rest. In this state of relaxed receiving, miracles unfold with grace and ease. Part 3. The Mastery of Renewal. Chapter 21. The Circle of Belonging. In a quiet valley between ancient mountains, Beulah Marsh lived surrounded by people yet felt utterly alone. Each evening, she would watch families gather in neighboring homes while sitting in her solitary garden, believing herself somehow separate from the web of human warmth that seemed to embrace everyone but her. Your connection to others begins not in the visible world, but in the sacred chamber of your thoughts. The subconscious mind knows no true separation. It recognizes only the unity that underlies all of existence. When you program thoughts of isolation, you construct invisible walls that keep love at bay. Yet when you plant seeds of connection in the fertile soil of your inner garden, life responds by reflecting back the very belonging you seek. This truth revealed itself to Beulah one starlit evening when she realized her solitude was not a sentence, but a story she had been telling herself. In that moment of clarity, she began to see herself as already whole, already part of the grand tapestry of life. Rather than waiting for connection to find her, she began to nurture it within. The subconscious mind thrives on inclusion, for it understands that separation is merely an illusion, born of limited perception. When you align your thoughts with the truth of unity, you activate forces far greater than physical circumstance. You become a magnet for the very experiences your heart desires. Walter Dean discovered this principle when grief had driven him into isolation. Instead of dwelling in his sense of loss, he began to envision himself surrounded by love and understanding. Each night before sleep, he would picture himself in a circle of warmth, connected to all of life. He didn't force these new relationships into being. Rather, he allowed his inner knowing of unity to guide his outer experience. Gradually, as though orchestrated by an unseen hand, people began appearing in his life. A neighbor would stop to share fresh bread. A stranger would strike up a meaningful conversation in the park. A group of artists invited him to join their weekly gatherings. The more he held the frequency of connection in his consciousness, the more life arranged itself to match that vibration. Your sense of belonging is not dependent on external circumstances. It flows from your recognition of the underlying unity that connects all things. The subconscious mind responds to this truth by orchestrating encounters that mirror your inner knowing. As night draws its gentle veil across your world, feel yourself embraced by all of existence. Let your breath sync with the rhythm of life itself. Know that you are held in the infinite circle of being, where no soul stands truly alone. Let this knowing sink deep into your subconscious as you drift into sleep, programming togetherness as your natural home. Chapter 22. The Magnetic Heart. In a small coastal town, Delia Frost walked through life speaking perfect affirmations, yet her desires remained distant dreams. Each morning she recited her goals with precision, her voice clear and controlled, her words chosen with care. Yet something was missing, the spark that turns words into reality. One evening, as she watched the sunset paint the sky in hues of gold and rose, her hand naturally drifted to rest upon her heart. In that moment, warmth spread through her chest, and tears of gratitude welled up unexpectedly. The beauty before her touched something deeper than words could reach. This simple experience changed everything she understood about manifestation. The universe responds not to the perfection of our words, but to the authenticity of our feeling. When heart and mind align in harmony, creation accelerates beyond measure. This sacred union of thought and emotion creates a resonance that the law of attraction cannot resist. Your subconscious mind reads the language of feeling far more fluently than it comprehends mere words. Marvin Pope discovered this truth during his darkest hour. After losing his business, he began a practice that would transform his life. Each night, as the world grew quiet, he would place his hand over his heart and simply feel thankful for his breath, his life, his existence. He didn't force grand visions or strain for positive thoughts. Instead, he allowed genuine appreciation to flow naturally, like a gentle stream. Within weeks, unexpected opportunities arose. People were drawn to his peaceful presence. His new ventures succeeded with an ease he had never known before. The difference was clear. His previous efforts had been mental exercises, but now his whole being radiated authentic gratitude. This ancient wisdom teaches us that manifestation flows most powerfully through the heart. When you align your thoughts with genuine feeling, you create a magnetic force that draws your desires toward you with natural grace. The heart knows no separation between what is and what could be. It simply loves, and in that love, miracles unfold. The practice. As moonlight bathes your room in silver light, rest your hand gently upon your heart. Feel its steady rhythm beneath your palm. With each beat, breathe warmth and light into this sacred center. Let your breath become slower, deeper, until you sense a subtle vibration, like a quiet hum of universal love. This is the frequency of creation, the song of belonging. From this space of heart-centered awareness, drift into sleep, knowing that love's vibration continues its transformative work through the night. Chapter 23. The Story of Enoughness. In the heart of a bustling city lived Leona Burke, who spent each moment measuring her life against others. Her mornings began with scrolling through images of apparent perfection, her afternoons consumed with tallying others' achievements, and her evenings heavy with the weight of perceived inadequacy. Each comparison carved deeper grooves of lack into her consciousness, until scarcity became the lens through which she viewed her world. The universe speaks in the language of energy, and every thought of not enough echoes through the chambers of creation, multiplying proof of its own conviction. This ancient wisdom reveals that abundance flows not from external circumstances, but from an inner spring of sufficiency. When you declare, "I am enough," you activate a magnetic force that draws more of everything toward you. In the quiet valleys of Vermont, Lester Boone discovered this truth through an unexpected teacher, his grandmother's old copper kettle. Each morning, he would fill it for tea, watching as it held exactly what it needed without concern for other vessels. One day, the simple wisdom struck him. The kettle never compared its capacity to the sink's vastness or worried about tomorrow's water. It simply existed in its enoughness. Inspired, Lester began a practice of declaring, "There is enough," before every meal, every business decision, every interaction. The words became more than sounds. They transformed into a frequency that resonated through his being. Within months, his small bookstore, which had teetered on the edge of closure, began to flourish. Customers appeared precisely when needed. Books sold at the perfect pace, and opportunities unfolded with natural grace. His transformation illuminated a profound truth. The subconscious mind accepts and amplifies whatever signal we consistently transmit. When we program it with sufficiency, it orchestrates circumstances to match this inner knowing. Like a radio tuning to a clear frequency, life adjusts, to meet our dominant vibration. The ancient wisdom keepers understood that abundance is not about accumulation, but recognition. They knew that the universe responds not to our words alone, but to the emotional conviction behind them. When you plant the seed of enough in the fertile soil of genuine belief, it grows into a forest of manifestation. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, rest in the gentle knowing that you are complete. Breathe thankfulness for all you have and all incoming plenty. Let each breath fill you with the truth that abundance is your natural state, and watch as life aligns with this sacred knowing. Practice. Rest in the thought that you are complete, breathing thankfulness for all you have and all incoming plenty. Chapter 24. The Resting Creator. In a small cottage among flowering trees, Matilda Price would fight against sleep each night, convinced that rest meant lost opportunities. She filled her evenings with endless tasks, believing that productivity meant pushing through exhaustion. Her mind raced with plans and worries while her body yearned for rest. The universe speaks in whispers, and these whispers grow clearest in the quiet hours when the conscious mind releases its grip. Through her resistance to rest, Matilda had closed herself to this sacred dialogue. Her manifestations grew weak, her inspirations dim, until fatigue itself became her constant companion. The truth emerges that sleep is not a pause in creation, but rather its wellspring. In those precious hours of surrender, the subconscious mind aligns with universal forces, weaving together the threads of your desires into the fabric of tomorrow. Your dreams are not mere fantasies, but blueprints being encoded into the field of infinite possibility. Ellis Warren discovered this wisdom through necessity. After years of insomnia had left his creative well dry, he learned to approach sleep as a sacred practice. Each night, he would consciously release the day's struggles, understanding that his subconscious mind continued the work of manifestation even as his conscious mind rested. As he embraced this practice, Ellis noticed a profound shift. His mornings began to overflow with inspiration. Solutions to problems appeared fully formed in his mind upon waking. Opportunities seemed to arrange themselves effortlessly, as if some unseen hand had been working while he slept. The subconscious mind requires this nightly renewal to transmute your intentions into reality. Like a garden that grows most vigorously in the dark hours before dawn, your desires take root and flourish in the fertile soil of sleep. This is not time wasted, but time invested in the deepest level of creation. When you resist sleep, you resist the natural cycle of manifestation. The universe operates in rhythms of action and rest, expansion and contraction. By honoring these rhythms, you align yourself with the very forces that orchestrate reality. Realizing this truth, Matilda gradually transformed her relationship with rest. She began to see her bedroom as a sacred space where miracles gestate. Each night became an opportunity to collaborate with the infinite intelligence that shapes all things. Your nightly rest is a return to source, a communion with the creative force that dreams worlds into being. As you surrender to sleep, you enter the workshop where reality is fashioned from the substance of thought and feeling. Practice. As you prepare for sleep, place your hands over your heart and softly whisper, "Thank you, beloved body, for carrying me through this day. I now release all control and trust the wisdom of the universe to work through my dreams, while I rest all things align for my highest good. Chapter 25. The Lighthouse Mind. In a small seaside town, Penny Groves lived beneath perpetual clouds of worry. Each evening brought mounting anxiety as shadows lengthened across her walls. Her thoughts spiraled into dark corners until sleep became an enemy rather than refuge. Night after night, she fortified herself against imagined threats, unknowingly strengthening the very fears she sought to escape. Then one evening, while watching the sun set over the ocean, Penny witnessed how light didn't battle darkness. It simply shone. This simple observation sparked an understanding that transformed her relationship with the night. Instead of armoring herself against shadows, she began to envision herself as a source of gentle radiance. Each evening, she would sit quietly and imagine warm golden light emanating from her heart, filling her room with peaceful luminescence. Within weeks, her nights transformed. The darkness no longer held power over her thoughts, for she had discovered an essential truth. Consciousness creates rather than merely receives. Your inner light shapes the world around you, for the subconscious mind responds not to external conditions, but to your relationship with them. This principle found powerful expression in the life of Dwight Lane, whose small manufacturing company faced impending bankruptcy during an economic downturn. While others succumbed to panic, Dwight maintained an unwavering inner radiance. Each morning, he greeted his employees with genuine warmth. During crucial meetings, his calm optimism steadied nervous investors. When others saw only obstacles, he perceived opportunities waiting to be illuminated. Remarkably, his inner light began to influence external circumstances. Employee morale remained high despite uncertainty. New partnerships emerged unexpectedly. Solutions appeared where before there seemed only dead ends. Within a year, his company had not only survived but thrived, transformed by the power of one person's choice to emanate light rather than absorb darkness. Your consciousness acts as a projector, not a screen. Whatever you radiate internally manifests externally through the law of resonance. Fear attracts more to fear. Peace draws forth peace. The subconscious mind responds to your chosen state of being, orchestrating circumstances to match your inner atmosphere. Ancient practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, sit quietly in your bed. Close your eyes and imagine a soft, warm light glowing within your heart center. With each breath, allow this light to expand gently outward, filling first your body, then your room, and finally extending beyond walls into the world. Feel yourself as a source of calm radiance rather than a recipient of darkness. Let this peaceful luminescence carry you into dreams, knowing that your inner light transforms all it touches. Chapter 26. The Melody of Trust. In a small village by the sea, a young woman named Bonnie Reese held her dreams at arm's length, waiting for proof before belief. Each morning she would meticulously analyze her goals, demanding evidence that her desires were possible before allowing herself to embrace them. Her analytical mind became a wall between her heart's wishes and their manifestation. The universe speaks in whispers of synchronicity, not in the rigid language of logic. When you demand proof before trust, you create resistance to the very flow that brings your desires to shore. Trust itself is the bridge upon which miracles walk into your experience. Your subconscious mind responds not to reasoning, but to acceptance. It flourishes in the garden of faith, where seeds of possibility are planted without question. When you release the need for logical validation, you open channels through which the universe can work its subtle magic. This truth found its perfect expression in the story of Kirby Vaughan, a musician who lived in the mountains. Each night before sleep, Kirby would sing his dreams into being, not with desperate pleading, but with serene certainty. He created melodies of gratitude for things yet unseen, weaving trust into every note. He didn't analyze whether his songs would work. He simply sang with unwavering faith. As weeks passed, his life began to orchestrate itself in remarkable ways. Opportunities appeared like perfectly timed musical notes. People who could help his career showed up as if conducted by an invisible hand. His simple practice of singing his faith had programmed his subconscious to expect harmony, and the universe responded in kind. The law of attraction operates through feeling, not thinking. Your subconscious mind is moved by the melody of emotion rather than the discord of doubt. When you trust before seeing, you align with the natural rhythm of creation. Trust is not blind faith, but rather a deep knowing that all unfolds in divine timing. It is the gentle acceptance that your highest good is already in motion, requiring only your willingness to receive. Ancient practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, find a comfortable position and begin to hum softly. Let your humming carry the vibration of complete trust. Feel how this gentle sound creates peace in your body. Continue for several minutes, allowing the sound to remind your subconscious that trust feels like tranquility. Let this peaceful vibration be the last sensation you carry into sleep, knowing that trust itself is a magnetic force drawing your good to you. Chapter 27. The Gift of Presence. In a bustling market square, Opal Dennis darted between stalls, her notebook filled with tasks yet unchecked. Each achievement brought momentary satisfaction before anxiety rose again for the next goal. Her days blurred into a ceaseless chase, missing the sweet scent of fresh bread from the baker's stall, the melody of children's laughter, the warmth of morning sun on her face. The universe speaks through the eternal now. Your subconscious mind knows only this moment. It cannot distinguish between past regrets and future fears. When you race ahead in thought, you program perpetual seeking rather than finding. The present moment holds the power to reshape your entire existence, for it alone contains the seed of transformation. Within the depths of your being lies a timeless awareness, waiting to awaken. This awareness, when embraced, becomes the foundation upon which all manifestation builds. Each breath drawn in consciousness reprograms old patterns of rushing and striving. Each moment, fully lived, becomes a command to your subconscious that life is complete exactly as it is. Raymond Knox discovered this truth during his darkest hour. After years of chasing success, illness forced him to stop. In the quiet of his recovery, he began to notice his breath, the gentle rise and fall that had always been there, unacknowledged. With each mindful inhalation, he found his racing thoughts settling like leaves after a storm. His simple practice of presence transformed his entire experience. As Raymond continued his breath awareness throughout his days, something remarkable occurred. The anxiety that had driven him dispersed like morning mist. Opportunities appeared naturally, without force. His relationships deepened, his work flowed with ease, and abundance arrived without struggle. By programming presence into his subconscious through consistent attention to the now, he had shifted his entire vibration from seeking to allowing. This ancient teaching reveals a profound truth. Presence itself is the ultimate manifestation. When you rest fully in the now, your subconscious aligns with the natural order of creation. Like a stream finding its course, life begins to move through you rather than by you. Tonight's practice. Settle into your bed and bring gentle attention to your breath. Feel the rhythm of life moving through you. With each inhalation, silently affirm, "This moment is complete." With each exhalation, release all need to control tomorrow. Let your awareness rest in the perfect unfolding of now as you drift into sleep's embrace. Chapter 28. The Alchemy of Emotion. In a small village among rolling hills, Effie Turner tended her garden with meticulous care, yet thorns seemed to sprout wherever she touched. Each morning brought fresh frustrations, wilted roses despite faithful watering, broken fences despite constant repairs. Her life mirrored her garden, filled with recurring obstacles that defied logic. What Effie didn't realize was that her practice of swallowing anger, of maintaining a facade of perpetual pleasantness, had created an invisible pattern. The subconscious mind, keeper of all suppressed emotions, faithfully manifested situations that matched her internal state. Her unspoken rage became the very thorns she fought against. The universe speaks through repetition. When patterns persist, they carry messages about the emotions we've hidden from ourselves. Every suppressed feeling becomes a seed planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious, growing into circumstances that demand our attention. Jasper Cole discovered this truth through an unexpected path. As a merchant whose business faced constant setbacks, he noticed how his forced smile masked deeper frustrations. One evening, inspired by ancient wisdom, he began writing his raw feelings in a journal. No censorship, no judgment. He followed this practice with deliberate laughter exercises, releasing tension through both expression and joy. The transformation was subtle, yet profound. As Jasper allowed himself to feel fully, to express safely through paper and release through laughter, life's flow shifted. Deals that once stalled began moving forward. Relationships that were strained grew easier. His conscious release of emotion freed the subconscious from its duty to manifest matching circumstances. This principle reveals a fundamental truth about the mind's inner workings. Emotion seeks expression. When denied, it speaks through events. When acknowledged, it transforms into creative force. Your subconscious responds not to what you pretend to feel, but to what truly stirs within. The path to transformation lies not in denial, but in conscious release. Each emotion carries energy seeking expression. Through safe acknowledgement, whether through writing, movement, or sound, this energy transforms from obstacle to opportunity. Practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, find a quiet moment to acknowledge every feeling that arose today. Welcome each emotion as pure energy, neither good nor bad. Breathe deeply and imagine each feeling dissolving into light. Let your dreams become the sacred space where this transformation completes, knowing that what you release consciously need not manifest as circumstance. Chapter 29. The Gentle Persistence. In an ancient city, there lived a woman named Charlotte Reeves who whispered affirmations into the dawn each morning. Though her voice carried hope, her heart harbored doubt, for the changes she sought seemed distant as stars. Day after day she repeated her chosen phrases, yet her circumstances appeared unmoved, like a mountain resistant to wind. The essence of transformation lies not in force, but in the gentle persistence of water wearing away stone. Your subconscious mind responds not to demanding repetition, but to loving consistency. Like a garden that requires patient tending, new neural pathways form through devoted care rather than harsh discipline. Roland Abbott discovered this truth in the quiet hours before sleep. Each night, he would speak words of peace to himself, not with rigid determination, but with the soft understanding of a friend comforting another. At first, his daily challenges remained, yet he continued his practice with tender persistence. Gradually, like morning mist yielding to sunlight, his anxious thoughts began dissolving into natural calm. The law of rhythm governs all transformation. Just as waves shape shorelines through countless gentle touches, your thoughts reshape your reality through patient repetition. This is not the work of force, but of faith. Faith expressed through consistent, loving attention to your chosen truth. Your subconscious mind learns through the language of feeling combined with repetition. When Charlotte finally understood this, she shifted from mechanical recitation to heart-centered practice. She began treating her affirmations as sacred conversations with her deeper self, infusing each word with genuine warmth. Soon, her outer world began reflecting this inner harmony. The ancient practice. As moonlight bathes your room tonight, choose one phrase that resonates with your heart's deepest truth. Speak it softly, as though sharing a precious secret with your soul. Let each repetition carry the warmth of genuine feeling, knowing that every gentle whisper plants seeds of transformation in your subconscious garden. Continue this practice nightly, trusting that each repetition deepens the roots of new belief in the fertile soil of your mind. Remember, it is not the force of your words, but the consistency of your loving attention that awakens lasting change. Chapter 30. The Eternal Dreamer. In the quiet hills of a small village, Lucy Browning tended her garden each morning, planting new seeds alongside flourishing blooms. For years she had sought the end point of spiritual growth, believing there must be a moment when transformation would be complete. Yet as she watched her garden cycle through seasons of death and rebirth, a profound truth blossomed within her heart. "The garden never finishes becoming," she whispered to herself one dawn. "Each flower opens to reveal another bud waiting beneath." This revelation transformed Lucy's approach to her inner work. Rather than striving for a final destination, she began to dance with the endless spiral of growth. Her morning affirmations became songs of joy rather than demands for completion. Her evening meditations shifted from rigid practice to flowing exploration. The universe speaks through eternal motion. Just as waves never tire of meeting the shore, your consciousness continuously unfolds into new expressions of itself. This is not a journey with an end, but a dance that deepens with each step. Vernon Ellis discovered this truth in his own way. Each night before sleep, he would ask himself, "What new wonder will tomorrow reveal?" Rather than seeking mastery, he cultivated wonder. His business flourished not because he reached a goal, but because he remained open to constant evolution. When others saw obstacles, Vernon recognized doorways to fresh understanding. "I am always beginning," he would say, "and that is my strength." Your subconscious mind thrives in this space of eternal becoming. It does not recognize endings, only continuous creation. When you release the need to arrive, you align with the natural flow of universal energy. This is the secret that mystics have whispered through ages. Enlightenment is not a destination, but an endless dawn. As you work with the law of attraction, remember that each manifestation opens the door to greater possibilities. Your desires evolve as you do, each achievement revealing new horizons to explore. This is not failure to reach an end point. It is the glorious nature of existence itself. Evening practice. As you lay your head upon your pillow tonight, smile into infinity. Feel yourself held in the eternal dance of creation. Whisper softly, "I am forever unfolding into greater light. Each breath brings new wonder." Let your subconscious mind dream new worlds patiently through you as you drift into peaceful slumber. Part 4. The Infinite Continuum. Chapter 31. The Dawn Mind. In a small coastal town, Lydia Marsh would wake each morning with a heaviness in her chest, her first thoughts tinged with worry about the day ahead. She had unconsciously trained herself to expect difficulty, and like an obedient servant, life delivered exactly what she anticipated. Each sunrise seemed to cast shadows rather than light across her path. Through her practice with universal law, Lydia discovered that those precious moments between sleep and full wakefulness held extraordinary power. The subconscious mind, still soft from dreaming, remains especially receptive during this transition. Like freshly fallen snow, these moments await the first footprints of thought. The morning holds no inherent meaning, she realized one day, watching dawn paint the sky. It is I who gives it voice. This truth flows from the depths of ancient wisdom. Your first conscious thoughts are seeds planted in fertile soil. They set the frequency for hours to follow, creating a template that life mirrors back with precise accuracy. The subconscious mind, ever vigilant, takes these early impressions as instructions for the day's unfolding. Eldon Burke embodied this principle with remarkable results. Living alone in his mountain cabin, he chose to greet each morning with 3 simple words: "Thank you, life." This gentle practice, maintained with quiet dedication, began reshaping his experience. Where once he saw obstacles, opportunities emerged. What previously felt like resistance transformed into stepping stones. "The sun rises without judgment," he would say. "It is my reception that colors its light." His story illuminates a fundamental truth about consciousness. The mind is most malleable when first awakening. Like a crystal catching first light, your thoughts in these moments refract through your entire day. This is not mere poetry, but the practical application of universal law. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what you deliberately choose to think and what you habitually allow. It accepts all impressions with equal power, especially in those threshold moments between sleep and waking. This is why masters throughout time have emphasized the sacred nature of dawn. The key lies not in forcing positivity, but in gentle, intentional awareness. Just as you would carefully choose the first notes of a symphony, select your waking thoughts with tender wisdom. Let them rise naturally from a place of peace, rather than pushing against whatever emerges. Evening practice. As waking light touches your eyelids, breathe gratitude before any other thought, letting optimism imprint the day ahead. Chapter 32. The Invisible Dialogue. In the quiet hours before dawn, a humble gardener named Cora Wilkins would pace her small cottage, muttering frustrations into the shadows. "Nothing ever works out," she would say. "Why can't things just change?" Day after day, she pleaded with life itself, unaware that her words were seeds falling into the fertile soil of her subconscious mind. The truth that escaped Cora's understanding was profound yet simple. Every utterance, whether whispered or thought, becomes a command to the infinite intelligence within. Your subconscious mind, that faithful servant of your spoken reality, accepts all statements as absolute truth. It cannot differentiate between what you want and what you declare. It simply responds to the vibration of your words. Within this eternal law lies both the challenge and the opportunity. Each complaint reinforces itself. Each fear magnifies its presence, while each expression of hope opens new pathways of possibility. The subconscious mind, in its perfect reflection, merely echoes back the frequencies you feed it most consistently. Nelson Fry discovered this principle through what seemed like accident, though in truth, there are no accidents in the universe of mind. After years of harsh self-judgment, he began speaking to himself as one might encourage a cherished friend. "You're doing well," he would say into his mirror. "Today holds promise." These simple shifts in language transformed his inner atmosphere. Within days, Nelson noticed subtle changes in his outer world. Colleagues responded more warmly, opportunities appeared with surprising ease, and solutions emerged where problems once loomed. He had not changed his circumstances directly. He had changed the inner script from which his reality was being cast. Your every word is a brush stroke painting tomorrow's canvas. When you speak of lack, you program scarcity. When you voice limitation, you construct walls. But when you choose words of abundance, possibility, and growth, you command the universal mind to manifest accordingly. The power lies not in forcing positive thoughts, but in gently redirecting the natural flow of your inner dialogue. As you prepare for sleep each night, listen to the quiet conversation within. Notice the tone of your self-talk. Are you speaking to yourself with the same kindness you would offer a beloved friend? This awareness itself begins the transformation. The practice. As you lay your head upon your pillow tonight, become aware of your mental chatter. When you catch a harsh thought, pause and ask, "How would a dear friend phrase this?" Replace judgment with understanding, criticism with encouragement. Let these gentle revisions be the last impressions your subconscious receives as you drift into sleep's embrace. For it is in these precious moments that tomorrow's reality takes root in the garden of your mind. Chapter 33. The Compass of Desire. In a quiet village among rolling hills, Elsie Maynard lived a life of careful restraint. Each morning she would dim her dreams before they could fully shine, believing that wanting less meant being more virtuous. When others spoke of grand aspirations, she would lower her eyes and speak of contentment with little, wearing her modesty like a badge of honor. Yet the universe heard not her words of humble acceptance, but the whispered beliefs beneath them. Her subconscious, that faithful interpreter of inner truth, translated her careful restraint as unworthiness. Life responded in kind, bringing experiences that matched her muted expectations. The language of creation speaks not in terms of virtue or vice, but in pure resonance with what you believe you deserve. Your subconscious mind, that masterful translator of thought into form, requires clear direction to shape your reality. When you diminish your desires, you dim the light by which the universe guides your path. Consider that the stars do not apologize for their brilliance, nor does the ocean hesitate to express its full power. Your desires are not mere wants. They are sacred calls from your soul, showing you the direction of your highest expression. In the bustling streets of a city far from Elsie's village, Clyde Evers discovered this truth through an entirely different approach. Each evening, he would sit at his desk and map his desires with precise detail, feeling neither shame nor hesitation. He wrote of the business he wished to build, the lives he hoped to touch, the abundance he intended to create and share. His subconscious received these clear signals like a ship's navigator receiving coordinates. Within months, opportunities aligned with his vision. Partnerships formed as if by divine appointment, and resources flowed toward his clearly stated goals. His success came not from greed, but from the clarity of his intentions. The difference between desire and greed lies not in the size of the dream, but in the energy that fuels it. Desire born of authentic self-expression guides creation like a compass points north. It is the natural language of expansion, the voice of life seeking greater expression through you. To suppress your desires is to speak in whispers to a universe that responds to clear declarations. Your subconscious awaits your instructions, ready to translate your truest wants into tangible reality. Ancient practice for sacred wanting. As you rest tonight, allow yourself to imagine without censoring, feeling the thrill of rightful wanting and security in its fulfillment. Let your desires rise naturally, like stars appearing in the evening sky. Feel the joy of wanting fully, knowing that clear desire is the first language of creation. Chapter 34. The Silence Between Thoughts. In a bustling market town, Agnes Poole filled her days with endless chatter, believing that speaking her desires aloud would make them manifest faster. She consulted every friend, joined countless discussion groups, and verbalized her hopes until her throat grew hoarse. Yet the more she talked, the more her dreams seemed to recede like shadows at noon. One evening, exhausted from explaining her vision yet again, Agnes encountered an old woman who simply placed a finger to her lips and smiled. In that gesture, Agnes felt a profound shift, as if the universe itself had whispered its most precious secret. The endless stream of words had been drowning out the whispers of her inner knowing. Like trying to hear a delicate melody while standing next to a waterfall, her constant verbalization had created too much noise for truth to penetrate. When you speak ceaselessly of your desires, you scatter their energy to the winds. The subconscious mind requires moments of pure stillness to receive the imprint of your intentions. It is in the spaces between thoughts that the deepest programming occurs, like the fertile soil between planted seeds that allows roots to spread and strengthen. Gerald Pierce discovered this truth during a period of illness when speaking became difficult. Forced into silence, he began spending the last 15 minutes before sleep in complete stillness. No affirmations, no spoken prayers, only the pure presence of being. Within weeks, his health transformed, and prosperity began flowing from unexpected sources. His quiet expectancy had become a magnet for grace. The subconscious responds most powerfully to the unspoken. In silence, your energy field clarifies and your vibration rises naturally to meet your highest good. Like a lake that must become still for it to reflect the stars perfectly, your mind must find moments of pure quiet to reflect your deepest desires with clarity. The ancient way teaches, be still and know. This knowing comes not through intellectual understanding, but through the direct experience of silence itself. When you rest in stillness, you align with the creative force that moves galaxies yet makes no sound. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, allow silence to become your teacher. Let the quiet spaces between thoughts expand until they embrace you completely. Feel how silence itself pronounces your safety and expectancy of good. Practice. Let moments of pure silence cradle you tonight. Feel silence itself pronounce your safety and expectancy of good. Chapter 35. The Mirror of Compassion. In a bustling marketplace, Sally Trent stood watching passers-by, her thoughts sharp as thorns. Each glance carried judgment. This one too loud, that one too slow, another too flashy. What she failed to perceive was how these silent criticisms etched deeper lines of isolation around her own life. Like ripples in a pond, her thoughts traveled outward only to return as waves of disconnect. The universe operates through an immutable law. What flows from your mind shapes the world you inhabit. Your thoughts are not mere whispers in the void, but architects of experience. When you project judgment, you program your subconscious to seek evidence of unworthiness, both in others and inevitably in yourself. Alvin Short discovered this truth during his darkest hour. Walking through city streets, weighted by loneliness, he noticed his habit of finding fault in every face. In that moment of awareness, he chose differently. He began offering silent blessings to each person crossing his path. May you know peace. May you find joy. May your heart's wishes manifest. At first, nothing seemed to change, but gradually, like dawn stealing across a midnight sky, his world transformed. Smiles appeared more frequently. Conversations grew warmer. Opportunities emerged as if by magic. By blessing others, he had reprogrammed his subconscious to expect goodness, and goodness responded in kind. The mirror of life reflects with perfect accuracy. When you cast stones of criticism, stones return. When you send forth rays of compassion, light illuminates your path. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between the judgment you direct outward and the experience you create for yourself. This wisdom teaches that every person you encounter serves as a sacred mirror, reflecting back the energy you project. Those who trigger irritation reveal where healing awaits within. Those who spark joy highlight the qualities you nurture in your own heart. The practice. As night draws near, find a quiet moment. Close your eyes and recall the faces that crossed your path today. For each one, create a sphere of golden light in your mind. Place their image within this radiance and whisper, I bless you. I release judgment. May we both know peace. Let this practice dissolve the boundaries between self and other, until compassion flows like a gentle stream through your consciousness. For in this blessing lies a profound truth. When you free others from the prison of your judgment, you liberate yourself. And in that freedom, Your subconscious mind learns to attract experiences of acceptance, understanding, and grace. Chapter 36. The Path of Simplicity. In a modest cottage among rolling hills, Laura Benton's shelves overflowed with manifestation journals, vision boards, and ritual items. Each morning brought a new technique, each evening a different practice. Her determination to master the art of creation led her to collect every method she discovered, believing more tools meant greater power. Yet abundance remained elusive, slipping through her fingers like morning mist. The universe whispered its wisdom through her mounting frustration, the truth hiding in plain sight. One peaceful dawn, as she gazed at her cluttered altar, understanding washed over her like gentle rain. The subconscious mind thrives in clarity, much as a crystal pool reflects most purely when undisturbed. Each added technique had been another ripple disturbing the surface of her inner waters. The power lay not in complexity, but in the pure, unwavering focus of a single thought held with devotion. This sacred truth echoes through the ages. Simplicity carries the strongest charge. When you distill your desires into one clear intention, your entire being aligns with its frequency. The universe responds not to the quantity of your methods, but to the quality of your focus. Dustin Reeves embodied this wisdom in his own journey. Living in a small apartment above his bookstore, he chose one simple statement: "Joy flows through me and returns multiplied." Each night these words became his only practice. No elaborate rituals, no complex visualizations, just this one truth held gently in his heart. As weeks passed, his bookstore began to flourish. Customers remarked on the peaceful atmosphere, lingering among the shelves as if drawn by an invisible warmth. His life took on a natural rhythm, every moment infused with quiet contentment. Without striving, he had found the key. His minimalism had awakened maximum magic. The power of manifestation requires not 1,000 tools, but one unwavering heart. Your subconscious responds most powerfully to clear, consistent messages. Like a garden that thrives with patient tending of a single seed, your desires bloom most beautifully when nurtured with focused simplicity. Practice. As you lay your head upon your pillow tonight, whisper one clear affirmation as you drift to sleep, trusting the universe to decorate simplicity with grace. Chapter 37. The Temporal Playground. In the quiet hills beyond the city, there lived a woman named Mildred Cole, who spent her days haunted by memories. Each morning she would wake and replay old mistakes, missed opportunities, and painful choices until they became a heavy chain around her present moments. Her garden withered as she watered it with tears of regret, unaware that she was feeding those same patterns back into her life's soil. The universe speaks in the language of now. What you hold in focused attention becomes the template for tomorrow's manifestations. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between past, present, and future. It responds purely to the emotional vibration you maintain in any given moment. When you cling to regret, you command your creative force to reproduce similar circumstances that will generate more regret. The past exists only as an impression in your mind, and that impression can be reshaped through conscious choice. Each memory is neutral until you assign it meaning. This is the hidden power of perception. It transforms not only how you view what was, but what will be. Rufus Tate discovered this truth after years of self-condemnation. As a merchant who had lost his fortune, he would lie awake remembering each misstep with bitter clarity. But one autumn evening, as he watched leaves transform from green to gold, he realized that change was the only constant in nature. In that moment, he chose to see his past differently. Each morning, he began to thank his previous challenges for their wisdom. Every loss became a lesson in resilience, every mistake a stepping stone to greater understanding. He blessed the experiences that had shaped him, releasing their grip on his present moment. Within months, new opportunities emerged as if by magic, though it was simply the law of attraction responding to his shifted perception. The subconscious mind operates like a faithful gardener, tending whatever seeds you plant through persistent focus. When you transform regret into wisdom, failure into teaching, and pain into growth, you realign your creative frequency with abundance rather than lack. Before sleep tonight, sit quietly and allow past memories to surface. Greet each one as a teacher who has served its purpose. Feel gratitude for the growth these experiences inspired. Let go of the weight of what was, knowing that this very moment holds all the power to shape what will be. Your subconscious awaits your permission to release the old story and begin writing anew. The practice. As you close your eyes, thank every memory for its gift and program your subconscious to release regret into wisdom. Chapter 38. The Energy of Words. In a bustling cafe near the harbor, Kitty James entertained her friends with quick-witted remarks, each self-deprecating joke earning laughs while invisibly carving grooves into her reality. "I'm such a disaster," she would quip, or "Watch me mess this up spectacularly." Her words, though wrapped in humor's silk, carried seeds that sprouted into circumstance. Day after day, small accidents and mishaps followed her footsteps, as if summoned by her jesting prophecies. The universe knows no sarcasm. Your words, whether spoken in jest or earnest, become commands to the infinite intelligence that shapes your experience. Each syllable vibrates with creative force, programming the subconscious mind, which then orchestrates events to match your declarations. When you speak against yourself, even in play, you write instructions for limitation. Cecil Morgan discovered this truth during his years as a comedy club owner. His humor had always leaned toward self-mockery. "I couldn't organize a sunset" was his favorite line. Yet, as his venues struggled, a wise mentor suggested he experiment with his words. "Speak as though the universe is taking dictation," the mentor advised, "because it is." Cecil began choosing phrases that honored his capabilities, even when joking. His new signature line became, "I attract success as naturally as breathing." He infused his humor with light instead of shadow. Within months, his business transformed. New opportunities arose, better performers sought his stages, and audiences grew. His laughter had become a magnet for prosperity because he had aligned his words with his highest good. The subconscious mind accepts every word as truth, storing each statement as a blueprint for future manifestation. It cannot distinguish between serious declaration and playful banter. Your casual comments become commands. Your offhand remarks transform into reality's building blocks. This is why masters of manifestation guard their speech with devoted attention. When you shift your verbal expression toward what you wish to experience, rather than what you fear or mock, you redirect the entire flow of your life's energy. Each positive word spoken becomes a note in the symphony of your becoming. Even in moments of levity, choose phrases that uplift and empower. Tonight, as your day draws to a close, observe the words that have passed your lips. Release any self-diminishing statements into the ethers with forgiveness. Place your hand upon your throat and feel the warmth of potential there. Let your final conscious thoughts be ones of harmony and strength, blessing your tongue as an instrument of creation. Promise your dreaming mind that tomorrow's speech will carry only the vibration of love and possibility. As you drift into sleep, know that every word you speak is a seed planted in the garden of your becoming. Chapter 39. The Fountain of Renewal. In a small village among ancient hills lived Ida Newport, a woman whose days blurred together in endless activity. From dawn until dusk, she filled every moment with tasks and toil, believing that constant motion would manifest her dreams. Yet, the more she pushed, the more exhaustion clouded her vision, and the further her desires seemed to drift. Each morning, she would rise before the sun, her mind already racing with plans and expectations. Her garden withered from neglect, while she busied herself with countless projects. Her relationships grew distant as she rushed past meaningful connections. Though her hands never stopped moving, her heart grew weary, and her spirit dimmed like a candle burning at both ends. The universe speaks through the language of balance, and in this eternal truth lies a forgotten wisdom. Rest is not the absence of creation, but its very foundation. Just as the soil must lie fallow between seasons to restore its nurturing power, so must the human spirit find sacred pause to renew its manifesting frequency. This deep truth revealed itself through Porter Glenn, a master craftsman whose work seemed touched by divine inspiration. While others marveled at his creations, few noticed his daily ritual of afternoon stillness. As the sun reached its zenith, Porter would retreat to his workshop, not to work, but to sit in quiet communion with silence. He understood that creativity flows not from constant doing, but from the spacious moments between actions. In these daily sanctuaries of stillness, Porter allowed his mind to clear like a pond settling after a storm. Each pause acted as a spiritual reset, refreshing his connection to the infinite source of creation. When he returned to his craft, ideas flowed with effortless grace, and his hands moved with inspired precision. His work flourished not despite these rest periods, but because of them. The teaching whispers this timeless truth. Renewal is not a luxury, but a necessity in the art of manifestation. Like a computer requiring restart to function at its peak, your consciousness needs regular moments of reset to maintain its creative power. These pauses are not empty spaces, but fertile grounds where new possibilities take root. Your subconscious mind, ever-present architect of reality, thrives in these moments of gentle stillness. In rest, it finds the space to rearrange the building blocks of your experience, transforming exhaustion into inspiration and effort into ease. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, imagine crystal clear water flowing gently through your mind, washing away the day's accumulated tension. Feel each breath acting as a cleansing wave, refreshing your spiritual circuitry. Let this simple visualization remind you that ease, not effort, opens the channels through which abundance flows. Allow sleep to become your sanctuary of renewal, knowing that as you rest, you align more powerfully with the natural currents of creation. Chapter 40. The Everliving Dream. In a small coastal town, Nadine Abbott spent her days anxiously preparing for endings. Each sunset brought a wave of melancholy as she mourned another day's passing. She meticulously archived memories and photographs, treating them as finite treasures that might slip away forever. Her fear of conclusions tainted even her moments of joy with a subtle dread of their inevitable end. Through the whispered wisdom of time, Nadine discovered a profound truth. Nothing truly ends. Each closing door opens to new chambers of possibility. The universe knows no conclusion, only eternal cycles of renewal. Like waves that retreat only to surge forward again, consciousness flows in an infinite dance of becoming. Your experience mirrors this endless spiral of creation. Every thought you release into the quantum field ripples outward eternally, touching shores you cannot yet see. When you understand that consciousness never sleeps, only shifts forms, fear dissolves into wonder. Your being participates in creation, even in stillness, even in darkness, even in sleep. Rupert Dale embodied this wisdom in his nightly ritual. Where once he had resisted sleep as lost time, he began approaching his bedroom as a sacred studio where dreams painted tomorrow's reality. Each evening he would smile at his reflection and whisper, "I am the artist who never stops creating." His days began flowing with synchronicity and grace, as if night's canvas had caught the colors of his trust. This knowing transforms how you meet each moment. There is no final chapter, only endless unfolding. Your consciousness streams forward like a river that cannot be contained or concluded. Even in rest, you participate in the universe's eternal expansion. Sleep becomes not an ending, but a doorway into deeper creation. The subconscious mind understands this continuity inherently. It does not recognize endings, only transformation. When you align with this truth, anxiety about conclusions melts into excitement for eternal unfoldment. Each moment becomes precious not because it will end, but because it flows into endless new beginning. Tonight's practice. As you prepare for sleep, breathe deeply and feel yourself as a living extension of infinite consciousness. Let your body settle into bed while your awareness expands into limitless possibility. Know that even as your conscious mind rests, your being continues its eternal dance of creation. Float into sleep, knowing creation is perpetual, and you are the dreamer who never ceases to bloom. Part 5. The Continuation of Light. Chapter 41. The Infinite Breath. In a quaint valley town, Della Monroe moved through her days like a whirlwind, perpetually racing against time itself. Her breaths came in short, shallow bursts as she rushed from task to task, treating each moment as an obstacle to overcome rather than life to experience. Her mind raced endlessly ahead while her body struggled to keep pace, creating a constant state of disconnection between thought and being. This rushing exists within you too. Those moments when breath becomes an afterthought, when the gap between intention and manifestation feels like a vast canyon. Yet hidden within your very design lies a profound truth. Breath is the sacred bridge between your conscious desires and your subconscious power. Your breath carries messages deeper than words ever could. Each inhalation speaks directly to the quantum field of creation, while each exhalation releases resistance and doubt. This is not mystical theory, but natural law, the way your physical form translates thought into tangible reality. Carlton Hayes discovered this wisdom through necessity. His mind raced with affirmations and intentions, yet manifestation remained elusive until he learned to breathe with purpose. Each morning and evening, he would sit quietly, allowing his breath to slow and deepen. As his chest rose and fell in peaceful rhythm, he noticed his thoughts naturally settling into clearer formation. Before speaking any affirmation, Carlton would take 3 full breaths, feeling the oxygen infuse his words with living power. Soon, his intentions began manifesting with surprising speed and grace. His breath had become the carrier wave for consciousness, the bridge between thought and form. The subconscious mind responds to rhythm more readily than to force. When you breathe slowly and deeply, you speak its language of peace. Each measured breath sends ripples of calm through your nervous system, creating the perfect state for reprogramming old patterns. Your breath is living proof of the universe's sustaining presence. It flows through you without conscious effort, yet responds instantly to your direction. This is the perfect metaphor for manifestation, supported by universal law, yet guided by personal intention. Tonight's practice. As night wraps around you, breathe deeply and slowly, letting each inhalation whisper peace and each exhalation whisper release, programming serenity into your dreaming self. Chapter 42. The Voice of Still Dreams. In a small cottage overlooking the sea, Vera Logan would often catch herself lost in reverie. Her mind would drift to scenes of success and joy, moments of achievement yet to come. For years, she scolded herself for these lapses, believing them to be mere escapes from reality's demands. "Focus," she would mutter, pulling herself back to what she deemed the real world. Yet something shifted when she noticed patterns emerging. The very scenes she had imagined began materializing in her daily life, first in subtle ways, then with increasing clarity. A chance meeting mirrored one she had daydreamed about weeks before. A business opportunity unfolded exactly as she had pictured during one of her unfocused moments. The universe whispers this truth: your wakeful dreaming is not distraction, but direction. These gentle wanderings of mind are the first breaths of creation, the subtle sketching of tomorrow's reality. Your subconscious mind receives these soft imaginings as blueprints, translating them into the language of manifestation. Amos Parker discovered this wisdom in his garden. Each evening, as the sun painted the sky in golds and purples, he would sit quietly, allowing his mind to weave visions of harmony. He imagined peaceful relationships, smooth transitions, graceful solutions to old problems. At first, he too questioned these moments of reverie. But then the coincidences began. A long-standing family dispute resolved unexpectedly. A challenging work situation transformed through an elegant solution no one had considered. Even his garden seemed to flourish in new ways, as if nature itself responded to his peaceful contemplations. These were not random events, but the natural fruition of seeds planted in those twilight moments of dreaming. The subconscious mind, ever attentive, had taken each soft imagination as instruction, weaving these possibilities into the fabric of reality. Your daydreams are not idle fantasies, but the first light of future mornings. They are the gentle rehearsals of what is to come, the quiet voice of creation speaking through your imagination. When you allow yourself these moments of soft visioning, You are not escaping reality. You are creating it. The evening practice. As you drift off, keep dreaming softly, unhurriedly, as if life were leaning closer to listen and promise. Yes, that too shall be. Chapter 43. The Radiant Surrender. In a bustling city where everyone raced against time, Lucille Kent lived by her precisely arranged schedule. Each morning began with a detailed to-do list. Each evening ended with frustration at what remained incomplete. She gripped her plans like a shield, believing that if she could just control everything perfectly, success would follow. Night after night, she carried tension in her shoulders, her jaw clenched tight as she reviewed the day's shortcomings. The more she pushed, the more life seemed to push back. Meetings got rescheduled, projects faced unexpected hurdles, and opportunities slipped through her grasp. Her determination had become a wall between herself and the natural flow of abundance. This truth whispers to all who struggle against the current. The subconscious mind responds not to force, but to faith. When you release your grip on how things must unfold, you allow the infinite intelligence of the universe to arrange circumstances in ways far more elegant than your limited perspective could devise. Boyd Winters discovered this wisdom through necessity. His small business faced mounting challenges, and his initial response was to work longer hours, micromanage every detail, and carry the weight of every decision. Yet the more he tried to force solutions, the more problems arose. One evening, exhausted and at his limit, Boyd stumbled upon an ancient practice. Instead of reviewing problems before sleep, he began releasing them. Each night, as he lay in bed, he would simply say, "Whatever serves my highest expands easily." These words became his gateway to surrender. Within weeks, unexpected solutions emerged. Clients appeared at perfect moments. Employees showed initiative in ways he hadn't imagined, and opportunities unfolded naturally. His surrender had created space for magic to enter. The universe operates through the law of least resistance. Like water flowing downstream, creation moves most powerfully when unobstructed by worry and control. Your task is not to make things happen, but to allow them to happen through you. The subconscious mind thrives in this state of peaceful allowing. When you release your grip on outcomes, you free the infinite intelligence to work through you. This is not passive resignation, but active trust in the perfect unfolding of life. Ancient practice. As you prepare for sleep tonight, let your body sink completely into your bed. Release all tension, all planning, all need to control. Feel yourself becoming weightless, supported entirely by unseen hands. Repeat softly within, "As I rest, divine intelligence completes my work perfectly." Let this truth carry you into dreams, knowing that while you sleep, the universe orchestrates all for your highest good. Chapter 44. The Subtle Architect. In the quiet depths of a small seaside town, Ida Crown moved through her days, wondering why life seemed to echo the same patterns. Each morning brought familiar frustrations. Each evening closed with identical disappointments. Like waves against the shore, events repeated their rhythm until one autumn evening, while watching the setting sun paint the ocean gold, understanding dawned within her heart. She realized that her inner world, her constant expectations of difficulty, her rehearsal of past hurts, her anticipation of future struggles, had become the architect of her experiences. Her subconscious mind, that faithful builder, was simply following the emotional blueprints she provided, constructing each day according to her deepest feelings and beliefs. This revelation transforms mere living into conscious creation. Your subconscious mind operates as the master builder, taking your emotional imprints as sacred instruction. Each feeling you nurture becomes a brushstroke on tomorrow's canvas. Your fears sketch shadows, your joys paint light. The architecture of your life rises from these subtle foundations. Victor Bloom discovered this truth through an unexpected path. Working as a craftsman, he began noticing how his smallest successes, when celebrated, seemed to multiply. Where once he saw only flaws in his work, he began honoring each perfect detail. A well-carved line, a smooth finish, a balanced design, each acknowledgement became a seed of greater mastery. As Victor shifted his attention from criticism to appreciation, his workshop transformed. Orders increased, clients expressed delight, and his creations gained recognition. The change flowed from within. His adjusted emotional blueprint had redrawn the outer world. His story illuminates how feeling shapes form, how inner celebration manifests as external abundance. The universal law at work here operates with precise artistry. Your subconscious mind responds not to what you wish or hope, but to what you feel as real. Each emotion carries a creative charge, programming the matrix of your experience. Joy attracts joy, peace draws peace, and appreciation magnifies blessings. Consider your feelings as the clay from which tomorrow is molded. Each moment of gratitude, each surge of enthusiasm, each wave of contentment shapes the substance of your future. Your emotional state isn't just a response to life, it is life's instruction manual. Ancient practice. Tonight, let your feelings sketch beauty. Fall asleep, holding only impressions you wish your mornings to build upon. Chapter 45. The Awakening Spiral. In the quiet hills of a mountain village, Lillian Fry sought what many before her had yearned for, the final breakthrough, the ultimate realization that would mark her spiritual journey complete. Each morning, she would check her progress like a student awaiting graduation, measuring how far she had come and how far remained until she could declare, "At last, I am done." Yet the universe whispered a deeper truth. Enlightenment moves not in straight lines but in spirals, each turn bringing familiar lessons viewed from higher ground. This sacred geometry exists in nature, from the nautilus shell to the dance of galaxies, showing that growth returns to its beginning point, but always at a more elevated level of understanding. When old patterns resurface, they arrive not as setbacks but as opportunities for deeper integration. Warren Gates discovered this truth during a period of profound transformation. His familiar doubts about abundance returned, yet this time they dissolved like morning mist rather than lingering as heavy fog. What once took months of affirmation to clear now transformed in days, sometimes hours. This was not regression, but evidence of his expanding consciousness, the spiral nature of spiritual evolution. The subconscious mind knows this spiral dance intimately. It recognizes that each revisit of a lesson carries the wisdom of all previous encounters. What appears as repetition is actually refinement, each turn of the spiral polishing awareness to a finer sheen. You may notice patterns you thought long resolved emerging again in your life. Welcome them as old friends bearing new gifts. These are not signs of failure, but invitations to experience the same truth from an elevated perspective. Your inner architect understands that each spiral turn strengthens the foundation while raising the ceiling of your potential. The law of attraction responds to this spiral nature of growth. As you ascend, manifestations that once seemed miraculous become natural, and what was once challenging flows with elegant ease. Your vibration rises not in sudden leaps, but in graceful spirals, each turn expanding your capacity to receive and create. Ancient practice. As night embraces you, lie quietly and visualize a spiral of golden light beginning at your base and rising through your body. With each breath, watch it ascend, carrying your consciousness higher while touching the same points with greater illumination. Feel how each turn brings deeper peace, more profound understanding. Let this spiral of light continue its eternal dance as you drift into sleep, knowing that every cycle lifts you closer to your highest expression. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. The journey you've undertaken through these chapters reflects the eternal nature of awakening itself. Like a spiral staircase ascending through consciousness, each turn brings you to familiar ground, yet at a higher perspective. What you discover is not an ending, but an opening into infinite possibility. Your subconscious mind, that faithful architect of experience, has been gently reprogrammed through each chapter's wisdom. The night has become your sanctuary of transformation, where ancient truths whisper their secrets into your dreaming consciousness. Every affirmation spoken, every visualization held, every moment of surrender has rewritten the invisible script of your reality. You now understand that manifestation flows not from force but from alignment. The universe responds not to your words alone, but to the feeling tone of your being. Your dreams are not mere wishes, but seeds planted in the fertile soil of infinite potential. As you close these chapters, know that your real work is just beginning. Each night as you drift into sleep, your mind becomes the sacred temple where new realities are born. Your rest becomes ritual. Your dreams become blueprints. Your peace becomes power. The key has always rested within you, in your capacity to align thought with feeling, to trust what cannot yet be seen, to allow what cannot be forced. You are both the dreamer and the dream, the creator and the creation, the question and the answer. Let each night become your gentle reprogramming, each dream your love letter to possibility, each awakening your step into new being. For in the eternal spiral of consciousness, there is no final destination, only ever-expanding awareness, ever-deepening peace, ever-growing light. The miracle was never outside you. It was always your own awakening heart, remembering its infinite nature, one dream at a time.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.